And our final news item is on a lighter and more artistic note, when the New York Film Festival celebrates its 60th anniversary with a carefully curated selection of highlights from the year in film. In September 1963, the first ever edition of the festival was held in Manhattan's Lincoln Center, and it counted as something of an experiment, an early test case as to whether the sort of serious, artistically inclined festivals that were quickly becoming established in Europe could find a home in the US. The inaugural festival sold just 20,000 tickets. At the 60th iteration, taking place from the 30th of September to the 16th of October, plenty has changed. The core elements of the institution remain in place 6 decades later. The festival still calls Lincoln Center its home. It still primarily consists of a carefully curated selection of highlights from the year's past festivals, making their New York debuts, though it is also studded with several world premieres like Maria Schrader's She Said and Shinoni Chikawa's Till. The festival this year also sees no shortage of films pegged as Oscar hopefuls, from opening night film White Noise to the closer, Armageddon Time. Rarely, however, does the film festival seem overeager to position itself as merely an award season campaign stop, and its heavy emphasis on international and independent film, as well as the more experimental fare in its current selection, helps keep the festival's artistic bona fide intact. And to join us over the phone to tell us more about the significance of the 60th anniversary is Andrew Mohsen, a film critic. A good evening to you, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us on our very first episode.
Thank you.
Can you tell us why the New York Film Festival is such an important point in the map for the awards and festival season in the film industry?
I think it's because of the time of the festival, which comes in the start of the award season. And so it's the major film festival in the U.S. So that's why many of the filmmakers like to have the premieres and the red carpet event in this festival. Even if the world premiere was like started earlier in Toronto or Venice, but for the U.S. premiere, they prefer to be in New York Film Festival. That's why it always gained this importance.
Yes, one of the things about the New York Film Festival, when it comes to the industry makers and audiences alike, I suppose, is that it is considered a more serious festival, a more serious event, rather than, you know, like the Oscars or the Emmys, which is just an award sort of season, giving out, you know, industry makers awards. But the festival itself is a learning experience. Do you believe this to be true?
I think yes, because after all, the Oscar or the Golden Globes are just an award ceremony, not a festival. And when you look at the New York Film Festival compared to other important festivals in the U.S., like for example, South by Southwest or Sundance.
Yes.
It has its importance because as we mentioned, the timing and also the selection, because it takes care of screening most of the awarded and important films of the year, because it comes in the last quarter. So if you take a look in the program, usually they have the most important films from Cannes, Venice, and also Berlinale. And this gives the more importance for the festival compared to another important film festival like Sundance. But Sundance is not like stuffed with all of these stars compared to New York.
Yes. Is the New York Film Festival also, since it is heavily focused on the international and independent films as well, is it closer to the European sort of festivals when it comes to the cinema industry?
Is it what? Sorry?
Since the festival in New York is more focused on, you know, independent and international films, do you think it's closer to the European cinema festivals as well?
I believe yes, because you can't deny that it has a good number of European and also Asian films. Like, for example, this year they are screening the new film by Park Chan-wook decision to leave.
Yes.
So yes, it's more like we can say it's a U.S. film festival. They are not focusing on this, and because they have a huge program, they have I think it's one of the biggest film festivals in the U.S. in the number of the films and the screenings. I mean,
Yes.
so they always select more films from other countries, which is non-American or British
Yes.
film festival. That's why it's also a good festival in the terms of diversity.
Yes. When it comes to festivals itself, I know may not be related just to the New York Film Festival. Why do the industry makers choose to go? Do you think that it's informative for them? Like they learn about other creative ideas from different countries, for instance, or they learn new techniques?
You mean for the audience or the filmmakers?
For filmmakers themselves.
The filmmakers, I believe it's always a window to meet different audience.
Yes.
From the experience, when you talk to a filmmaker in every film festival, he has different feedback, and sometimes when you talk about films which have comedy moments, they always tell us the filmmakers wants to know how the audience is going to react to these moments in different countries. So yes, if it comes to the experience, of course they love to do this, and also because of the most of the film festivals, especially when you are talking about a huge festival like New York, it has a lot of exposure and coverage from the media and from the film critics. So they need, especially for the art house film, which is more.
It's a good marketing tool, basically.
Yes, exactly.
Do you think that something like the New York Film Festival is attractive also to audiences, the average viewer, for instance, or is something like the Oscars more interesting for the average viewer?
I believe they are totally different type of audience because, as we mentioned regarding the European films screened and also the Asian films, and this type of art house films, which is not so commercial. So the audience which prefer to go to the film festival are totally different from this, or not totally different, but somehow different from the ones who follow the Oscar. Although when we talk about the New York Film Festival, they always have this, let's say, the best of the U.S. industry or Hollywood industry each year. So you can easily find the films which premiere in this festival later on in the awards of the Oscar and the Golden Globe. So I believe at a certain point the audience are the same.
Yes. Andrew Mohsen, a film critic, thank you so much for enlightening us on the New York Film Festival. Thank you so much for joining us. And this is the end of our new show, Nile TV Live Newsroom. Hope you enjoyed this news show and hope you stay tuned for more on Nile TV and tune in next week for the same and more interesting news items.